Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. Welcome to part 10 of building a MOC from start to finish. This is my Cathedral project and I can't believe we've done 10 parts. This is the longest series I've ever done, but this is also the largest MOC that I've attempted. It currently sits on two standard 32 by 32 base plates. In the previous video, I did the exterior of the build, including adding in this graveyard. If you missed it, you can check out the link in the card above or the description below. Offline, I added in more texture, including these leaf hearts and red flowers, and I've done it all across the entire perimeter of the build, and it really adds a bit of color and adds more texture to the already detailed exterior. Well, for this video, we're not going to work so much on the exterior of this build, but I'm going to work on the extension in front of it. First, I need to give you an idea of where this cathedral will be placed in Small Brick City. This cathedral will be placed in Brick Beach. Currently, you can see that the space is occupied by the Palace Cinema, the Town Hall, and the Fire Brigade, which is on the upper level of my town. This section of Small Brick City is a tourist beach town, and I wanted a really significant central build to be featured in this town. Originally, my central build for the tourists was the town square. That's where it all started, but a real structure and not just a space. And that's why I came up with the idea of a cathedral which will be historical and can be the most significant tourist attraction in Brick Beach. So the entire top section will be filled with this cathedral with an additional green base plate in front over here. In fact, what I intend to do is to take the town square base plate and bring it up in front of the cathedral. Here's the town square base plate placed in front of the cathedral, and I just took it as it is, but obviously it will not be configured like this when it's placed in front of the cathedral. I do want to keep that wall because I think that's quite iconic, but it probably will not be that high, and it also will not be in that position. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees so that the back of the wall will actually be on the left side of the base plate, because that's where my cliff is that overlooks my beach. So I will have another base plate over here because this is my main street when you look at my city, and this part here will still be Brick Point, which is what it is. However, the fountain on Brick Point will be moved back to the town square. In fact, I'm going to place that memorial statue back on top of the fountain, and that was how the fountain was originally designed for an official Lego City pack. So I do want to redo that. I'll still have the wall, but lower, and it would almost be in line with the main entrance of the cathedral. So just imagine this will be more or less an open space for tourists to gather and take photographs and just make it really scenic and form an impressive walkway to the main doors of the cathedral. While it does pain my heart a bit to have to move the town square and really change the configuration and the look of it, since this was here from the very start of Small Brick City, but change is inevitable, and if you want to make improvements, you have to change. So a part of me is still very excited. I will be keeping all the main elements, so it's not that I'm tearing it down completely, it's just that it's going to be modified and the position will be changed. However, I think the whole new level with the cathedral will be pretty epic and will really suit Small Brick City. So let's get started with tearing this down, and I'm going to be using this base plate, and then I'll work with it to configure everything so that it lines up with the main doors of the cathedral. This is how my current base plate in my city is. This is actually the fountain, and this is an area I call Brick Point, where minifigs can look over to the beach and the Asian district beyond that. So what I intend to do is actually remount this statue back on top over here, and all this will be moved over here with the wall against this side of the base plate. So this side will be opened. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm not going to worry about it in this particular video because that's really probably for a city update. But I will transplant this out, and I'll start working on this, removing this and just rearranging the entire thing. This is what I've got so far. It might look a bit off-centered from the base plate, but remember I'm building for my cathedral, which is also off-center because I had space for the cemetery on this side over here. And this is good as well because then I can set up all kinds of scenes, and this side is really where my viewers be seeing my city because it's against a wall just like this, and you just have to imagine that this city goes beyond the wall. So this lines up all with the cathedral main doors, which I think is really nice. And there's also a backstory to this entire cathedral, and there's actually reasons why there are all these different statues the way you see them. So what I intend to do, originally these were all plants. I want to put in water, so I'm going to see if I have plates that I can put inside to act as water. If not, maybe I'll use trans blue elements. So I'm going to fill this part, I'm going to tile this up. This wall is just a memorial wall, so people do not climb up. I will need to stabilize this even more, so I'll do that. And after that, I'll work on detailing texture for this grass area. This is the completed fountain as well as the wall. Everything is tiled up. I've added in blue plates underneath for the fountain and added trans blue cone pieces to give it a very nice texture. I think everything looks good. What I need to do now is to take some of these light gray plates or tiles, and I need to figure out how I want to extend them beyond this particular plate so that I can have a seamless transition between the cathedral and this grass patch. So I'm thinking of maybe creating a walkway, sort of like a cross as I did previously, and then after I do that I can think of adding in green plates to create texture on the grass surface. This is what I've come up with initially. I think this works. Lots of pattern and texture. Now, of course, these are just the green plates. In terms of the broad plates, I'll have to use smaller tiles or smaller studs and 1x2 plates just to create even more texture. But I'm pretty happy with this. What do you think of this? Do you like the progress of how it's going? I think we definitely do have some kind of a very impressive park. If you think of it as a tourist destination, it does have the makings of that. So let's carry on making this even more detailed and hopefully making it pretty spectacular. This is the completed new town square or the cathedral square. I've added in flower studs as well as 1x1 plates just to add a bit more texture. I've added in golden wings to the statue, and actually this is the original design. I removed them previously because they didn't fit my theme, but now I think that it fits my storyline for this cathedral, and I'll explain more on that in the review video. Originally I wanted to place this antique store MOC somewhere on the grounds, but if you notice it just pulls too much focus, and normally when you have stalls they aren't so close to the main building or the tourist attraction, simply because people want to take photographs and you don't want that in the way. And I think it really pulls focus from the build. Even if I were to put it in the garden, let's say over here, that just doesn't look good. But I do want this particular build because I think it fits well with the overall theme. So I'm going to put it on the road when it's set in the city. So it's a bit of a distance away from the cathedral, but still something where tourists can buy souvenirs from. Incidentally, I taught how to build this particular antique store in a previous video, and you can check that link in the card above or the description below. This was my original intention for the layout in my city. This would be Main Street. It comes out over here, so this is actually the end of the road and drops down a cliff, and the beach is over on this side on your left. But I tried something just now and I rotated this 90 degrees, and now I'm wondering whether this is actually a better look, at least in terms of the setup, in terms of the viewing experience as you, the viewer, watching and looking at the city. This looks much more inviting. You see the backdrop. I don't think there's an issue if you're supposed to assume there's something behind this wall, because this is really just a memorial. I can open up a passageway over there, so it's a memorial wall, so you can actually walk around it if you really want. And this is a cliff over here. I could also have a little barrier or this concrete block running on this side to act as almost a bench where people can sit down and enjoy the view. I now think this might be a better approach, because this is where you would gather and then you walk into, and it's really scenic in terms of taking photographs. And for you, the viewer watching this, whether through video or the photographs or seeing it live, I think this seems much more impressive than if I were to put this way, even though that was my original intention. See, if you look at it this way, you probably have to look at it from angles to fully appreciate it. But if I were to turn it this side, I think this probably looks better and more visually interesting as well. So let me know what you think. I'm gonna work on this offline and I'll see if I can reconfigure this slightly just so that it makes more sense, because right now we have this little hill here which shouldn't be here, probably will be on the other side. But let me know your thoughts. Which configuration do you prefer? Well, I hope you enjoyed this video on creating this new town square or cathedral square. This marks the end of this 10-part series of building a MOC from start to finish. In a subsequent video, I will do a full review of the set. I'll make offline changes, I'll add in minifig scenes, and also explain the storyline that I created for this cathedral. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you do not want to miss out on the review video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Check out these two videos before you go.